The Current Events channel presents Blood Money, a look at current events that involve the ultimate price, blood. This week we look at Jesus Christ, the self-professed savior of mankind.
Jesus Christ was a man of love, so no one could have predicted that his life would end in such a violent display of hate. We start our story by going back to the beginning and the announcement of his birth. Mary was a young bride-to-be when she was visited by an angel informing her that she had found favor with the Lord. He went on to say that she would bear a son destined to be the Savior of mankind. Not much is heard about this man until a wedding many years later. It was there that Jesus began his ministry with the miracle of changing water into wine. From then until about a week ago, many miracles were done by this man. Everything from feeding 5,000 with 5 loaves and 2 fishes and walking on the water, to making the blind see and raising the dead. Approximately 5 days ago, the leaders of Jerusalem and Israel began their prosecution of this man, Jesus.
We were forced to prosecute this man, Jesus of Nazareth, because of his continual blasphemy. Who is he to say that he could forgive sins and make promises of salvation? We could not allow this man to continue with this riotous behavior. We have the law of Moses and of the prophets. Without the authority to bring a man to death, the Sanhedrin court decided to bring him to Pilate. Let his blood be on Pilate's hands.
The Pharisees brought Jesus before Pilate, the Roman governor for Israel.
This just man was brought to me to be judged on the crime of blasphemy and disturbing the peace by unlawful assembly. I tried this man on the current Roman laws and was unable to find fault with him. Even my wife advised me to let him go free because of the uneasy feelings she had about it. And so, with the option of releasing the murderer because of this time of year when we release unto the people a prisoner, I gave them the choice to release Jesus or the murderer Barabbas. And due to the incredible outcry of the people, they yelled, "We want Barabbas." And so therefore, I gave him back to the community, and Barabbas was given to them as their choice. Upon doing so, I washed my hands and said, "His blood be upon your hands and upon your heads." And they said, "Not only our hands, but our children's hands as well." And they shouted, "Be upon us and our children." And so I advised them, "Take Jesus and do with him as you will."
Claudia, the wife of the Roman governor, was against the crucifixion because of the seriously disturbing dream and fear for her husband's life if he did not protect the man.
I felt and still feel that a grave injustice was done to this man, Jesus. I had a strong dream that still haunts me today, revealing to me that Jesus was innocent. I tried to convince my husband of this, knowing that not only Jesus would die, but that he would have a large amount of guilt and suffer consequences the rest of his life.
After a kangaroo court conviction, Jesus was sentenced to death by crucifixion. The officer in charge of the capture and execution was Lieutenant Fabian of the Jerusalem Department of Corrections.
He was by far one of the most peculiar prisoners that we have ever encountered. I remember when I took a squad of soldiers to apprehend him in the garden. One of his disciples cut a soldier's ear off. He reached down, picked it up, put it back on the soldier's ear as if it never happened. I'll never forget that. When I was verifying his identification, I asked him if he was Jesus of Nazareth, and he replied, "I am he." The power that flowed when he spoke those words literally knocked myself and all of my soldiers off of our feet.
Novius, a soldier present at the crucifixion, shares what he experienced on that day.
As I can recall, whenever we nailed him and put him in a place, man, dude screamed like you would not believe, but the whole time he never cursed me or my people, so personally I ain't got a problem with him. You know, it is what it is, but what I think as the soul left his body, man, for some reason the sun just went dark, like you put a blanket over a light. So, and for some reason the earth just shook really, really violently. I could barely stand up. I looked around, everybody else was on the ground. I don't know what's going on.
Officer Novius, we have another codename zombie on the loose. Codename zombie.
But strange things been happening, man. You got people that's been dead 10, 15 years, bruh, up walking around like you would not believe. One of them walked past me the other day. Well, what's going on with that right there? But I can't explain the stuff that's been going on, man. It's been dark for about 3 days. I don't know if the sun's gonna ever come back out. I'm ready for it to come back out. But with things that's been going on around here, bro, we got people standing by the tomb guarding it, make sure it ain't a hoax or practical joke or whatever. But the boss been riding me. But if you excuse me, I got a little call to go handle, so I'll see y'all later.
Also witnessing the crucifixion was Mary, the mother of Jesus.
I know he was innocent. I know that for a fact. I saw him. I know that he never did anything wrong. And yet they took him and they tormented him. They tortured him. They did everything they could to be hateful and ugly to him. And then they took him, as broken and as beaten as he was, and they crucified him like a dog. And that's my son, it's the worst thing a mother could ever see. But I know it was all in his plan. It was the prophets said that's what was going to happen. He said that's what was going to happen, that he would die, but then he would rise from the grave. He would come alive again. And it's that hope that even after seeing him die and seeing him buried in a tomb, I have a hope that I'm going to go to that tomb and he's not going to be there anymore. And for that...
We interrupt your regularly scheduled programming to bring you breaking news. We now send you live to the Channel 7 News Desk with Brendan Wetzell and Marci Washington.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Marci Washington.
And I'm Brendan Wetzell.
Here's your breaking news. Some strange events have been occurring on Arimathea Hill. For more on this story, we go to my co-anchor, Brandon.
Thank you, Marci. As reported about 3 days ago, the highly debated crucifixion of Jesus of Nazareth is the beginning of the story. After he was confirmed deceased and his body was laid to rest at Arimathea Hill, we seem to recall during his trial, he made claims that after he was killed, he would rise again in 3 days. And as it appears, there has been some events that have taken place in the past few minutes that point to those claims being true.
We take you live to Arimathea Hill. Trish, are you there?
Yes, Marci, I'm here. We are here at Arimathea Hill, as far as the law will allow us to be, where the tomb of Jesus that they buried 3 days ago is now empty. There are accusations that he is risen. Now, we're still waiting on an eyewitness account of this accusation. Let's see if I can see. Wait, excuse me, ma'am, what's your name? Can I ask you a few questions?
I'm Mary Magdalene, but I don't have any time. He is risen.
Who is he? Who is he?
Jesus is risen just like he said he would.
And ma'am, how do you know this?
I saw it with my own eyes, but I don't have time. I've got to go tell everyone.
Is this real? Well, Brendan and Marci, I guess Jesus really is risen. I'll shoot it back to you guys in the studio until I can get more information on the matter. Back to you.
Thank you, Trish. Keep us posted.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, you heard it first here. Jesus has risen. I repeat, Jesus has risen.